The following may contain strong opinionated views. The views and opinions expressed on this show does not necessarily reflect the views or the opinions of any social media or broadcast platform.
Hi, welcome to Talk Back Live, a show that gets you involved in live conversation and sports with Brian Camp on Sports Update, bringing you the latest developments in today's world of sports. And now here's your host, Frank Allan.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a pleasant night to each and every one of you in your different time zones around the world and across the country. Here we are once again. It's Thursday. It's 8 p.m. on the East Coast, 5 p.m. on the West Coast. It's Friday morning. It's 1 a.m. in London, 3 a.m. in Israel, and 10 a.m. in Tokyo, Japan. And they're just getting ready to get up and at 'em. And how are all of you guys doing today? I hope you're doing fine. We're coming to you live from New York City. That's where we originate, but we don't stop there because the show goes all around the world because we're global and we like you to tell your family and friends about it. We thank you so much for being with us. The name of the show is called Talk Back Live. And for the next hour, you and I are going to get together, have a little conversation, talk, and whatever you want to talk about, we can talk about it right here. It's free form. And we've been here, what, not last week, but the week before. Yeah, that was the last time we were here, only because it was the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. So we had that time off. So we thank you so much for being along with us. And for those of you who've been around with us for all of these years, we thank you so much for that. We hope that you stick around for more and more years and tell your family and friends about it if you haven't done so thus far. And we may have some newcomers who are here for the very first time. So we would like to introduce ourselves. My name is Frank Allen. I am the host of the show. And as the host of the show, I get things started and what I call the prep mode. So I'm just kind of revving up things just to get started. And doing that, I kind of throw out a conversation or so that we can linger on until you're able to say, hey, you know something, I want to talk about something else. You can do that since we're on live. It's so easy. We want to thank you for being here. And we want to welcome all of you. You are just as important as the people who have been here for so many years. All right. And so as I get things started, in the meantime, you could use the keyboard on your typewriter. They don't have those anymore. Let's say the computer. How about that? We're in the 21st century, right? Use the keyboard on your computer or on your telephone and even your tablet, right? You can watch us on there. And if you have anything to say at all, please say it by using that. Stroke the keyboards, type it in. I'll see you right there on the big screen. I'll entertain all of your thoughts and ideas because that's what the show is all about. It's free exchange of ideas and of opinions. And of course, all of us have those. And we want to hear what your opinion is about anything. Now, if there's anything that you want to talk about in particular, it doesn't matter what it is, whatever subject it is, as long as it's clean and as long as all of us can enjoy it and have fun together, we will get everybody on board with that. All you have to do, again, type it in and we'll talk about it. It could be anything, from politics to sports and all kinds of things. We talk about everything under the sun. That's totally up to you. You can do that. Now, there are a lot of people who are watching and may not want to get involved in conversation if you're here, especially if you're here for the very first time. And that's okay. We understand that. But we want you to know that we will not get you involved. We will not rope you in unless, of course, you say something first. Now, one of the things that people worry about is that, like I want to watch the show, but I hope he doesn't mention my name or say anything because I'm not ready to do that just yet. Don't worry about it. I see everyone when they come in, but I will not address you unless, of course, you say something first. And I hope that's satisfactory to you because we want everyone to feel comfortable with the show. You could watch it, you don't have to say anything. The most important thing is that you're out there right now and you're enjoying. So we want you to enjoy for the whole hour. Now, if you can't stay with us for the whole full hour for any reason, well, we thank you for whatever time you could spare with us. But we hope the case is that you could stay with us for the whole full hour and chat with us. And again, if you don't want to chat, that's okay too. The main thing is that you're out there. We have a lot of things to talk about. And of course, as you already know, a lot of you already know, but for the benefit of the people who are just here, we're on two different platforms, live on two different platforms. We're live on YouTube and we're live on Facebook. So wherever you're watching us, it's okay. You know, you can still chat with us, and it's just fine. But those of you who are watching us on YouTube, as I always say, give us a chance to get acquainted with the people that you're with. You know, share it with the people that you're with. Now, of course, you know that you can tell your family and friends about it, and the only way to do that, the best way I know to do that, is to tag your friends, tag this show to your friends. Now, that's what they say on Facebook. We're going to tag this show to our friends. It's about the same process as when you're on watching us on YouTube. All you have to do is just cut and paste the platform that you're watching us on right now. What I mean by a platform, I mean the link to where you are. Just cut and paste it and send it to as many friends as possible. We hope that you can send it to a bunch of friends, a gang of friends, so they can join us out there. Now, they'll see it when you send it out to them. And the only thing that they have to do, and they'll trust you, by the way, because they know it's coming from you. All they have to do is click on to that tag, and boom, it brings them directly to where we are right now, and they can watch the show. So we invite you to do that. That's very important to us. And also, we would like you to, if you're watching us on Facebook, and if you haven't done it thus far, please take the time right now to subscribe to my Facebook channel. Okay, do that. That's very important to us. We want to know who's watching us, who's following us. And that's one of the good reasons why we want you to do that too. The second reason is, of course, now that you have done that, and we hope that you have, it gives you the opportunity to know whenever we come on live. Of course, you get an instant notification if you're not on the channel at that particular point, but you happen to be online doing whatever you're doing. Pop-up will come up, and that'll let you know we're on the air. Now, that pop-up can come up even when we're not on the air. Let's say, for instance, you're watching on a Saturday, you're doing something on a Saturday, or some place where we're not even on the air on these days, on Thursday night. That means there's an activity going on. And that could be meaning posting another video or a still photo. But whatever it is always active. Activity is going on. But when it comes to the show, it pops up, it lets you know that. And all you have to do is just click onto it, and it brings you right there. Simple as that. We're glad to have you along with us. And as we always interact with you, we want to let you know that we do certain things on the show to keep the show rolling. We have our own little format that we do. In just a few minutes from now, in this half hour of the hour, we're going to call on Brian Camp. He's coming out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, Brian Camp is our sports guy, and he's going to come along with the latest developments in today's world of sports. The name of his show is called Sports Update, and he'll be with you. And if you have any sports questions at all, anything related to sports, and you want to question him about it, please get them ready. Get your questions ready, because when he comes out here, he'll be able to answer the questions for you. You'll get a chance to see him. If you're watching us on YouTube, you'll see him live on screen. But for those of you who are watching us on Facebook, you won't be able to see him, but you'll hear him. All right. So if you want to see him, you'll come on over here to the YouTube side, or you can stay there. And if you don't want to see him, it doesn't matter. But you'll hear him. You'll hear him. That's for sure. And you could still ask the questions. You could still type in, ask the questions, and he'll see you, and he'll answer all the questions that you have. So we have that coming up, and a few other things too. Also, a thing called This Day in History. Now, this day in history. On this day, and here we are, December, the fourth day of December. Something happened on this day in history on back in the day, on this day, on the 4th, right? Something happened, and we have a laundry list of the things that happened on this day in history on December 4th. So that's coming up later on too. Now, towards the end of the show, before it's all over, I do what I do each week. I bring you those classic movies. Now, the weekend is coming up, and you're looking forward to doing a lot of things. And one of the things that you may want to do is catch up on some movies. Now, a lot of you may work 5 days a week right across the board, Monday through Friday. and Saturday and Sunday is the only day you get. And there's a variety of things to do on the weekends, and you could do that. But some people would like to say, "Ah, this weekend I'm not going to go out. I'm going to stay home, and I'm going to catch up on some movies I haven't seen in a long time." Well, that's where I come in. I'm going to bring you those classic movies because each week I go into the vault of Turner Classic Movies and pick out some of the best movies that I think that you may be interested or maybe worth watching, and I'll pass them along to you. I have a few. And so at the end of the program, towards the end of the program, I'll have that coming up. All of that's coming up right here on Talkback Live. And here we are in December, and we are at the last month of this year, 2025. It's the fourth day of December, and this is our first show of this brand new month. Yes, indeed. As you already know, last week we weren't here. If you were looking for us last week, we weren't here. But what we did, we posted a flashback live. I guess a talkback live flashback. That was one of a previous show for I hope you had a chance to get around to seeing it, and we did that. And so we're back again, and we're back in the action. Everything is back to normal, and we're going to make sure that we're going to do a good show for you. And we hope, again, that you stay with us for the entire hour. And in this month of December, if it comes around, if there's anything to celebrate in the month of December, of course, we always tell you about it. But there's not anything to celebrate on this month of December except for Christmas, which is coming up back, but that's at the end of the month. But we're talking about something that we could celebrate for the entire month. There's nothing to talk about, but we will tell you about something that we can pay attention to. This whole month is a Universal Human Rights Month. Now, that's worth talking about. Universal Human Rights Month. All of us have rights. All of us have human rights, or where to go, where to stay, where to eat, where to sleep, or what to do, things like that. And they're just acknowledging that. That's something that we just acknowledge for the whole month. Universal Human Rights Month. And remember that if you're a citizen of this country, you have rights. As a matter of fact, no matter where you are around the world, you have rights and you have human rights around the world. It's not just here in the United States. All around the world, there's such thing as human rights. And that means you have the right to do what you want, say what you want, go where you want, be who you are, or whatever. That's human rights. So that's what we're kind of shining a light on that for the whole month. Also, we're celebrating National Drunk and Drug Driving Prevention Month. Okay, that's important, especially around this time of the year. People like to go out and celebrate, just like Thanksgiving. A lot of you, I'm pretty sure, uh, did a little, you know, and hey, that's okay too. But we always say that if you're going to do that, make sure that you have a designated driver. All right, someone that'll take you home and get you there safe. And preferably someone who doesn't indulge in alcohol or drugs, they would drive you home and get you there safe. But for this whole month, we're talking about it now. It's relevant because Christmas is coming up too, not too far away. As a matter of fact, Christmas Day is 3 weeks from tonight. 3 weeks. In 3 weeks. So if you thought that the holiday was over and you spent all of your money, and we hope that you spent wisely. If you were able to spend for gifts or anything like that, we hope it was wisely, because the way things are today, you want to make sure that you take care of number one, and that's you. Okay, but if you thought the holiday was over, it's not. We're just taking a break right now. We're just taking a 3-week break, and then we go back into the holiday, and that's going to drift us into a brand new year after that. So right now, at this time of the year, we always go into the deep dark tunnel. And then when we get around New Year's, I like to call that the light of the end of the tunnel. You see everything is a brand new everything for you for the brand new year, whatever you're looking forward to do. But we're going to talk all about that later as it come along. We don't want to push ourselves, but we did hope that you had a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving, and you did all of the things that you wanted to do. And a lot of you, of course, had to fly off somewhere. And for some people, the air traffic was kind of shady, but we hope that you got to your destination and you got there and you saw your family and you had a good time. So, but we're back. We're back. We're back to square one. So I hope you enjoy it. Just in case you're just joining us, the name of the show is called Talk Back Live. And we're talking back live to you. And again, if you want to indulge in conversation, we encourage you to do that. If you don't, that's okay too, as long as you're here. That's the most important thing, that you're here with us right now. And you can sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, especially if you're new. And if you're new to the show, we understand. And you want to make sense of this show and you want to get used to it before anything goes. Okay. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go over to Charlotte, North Carolina, as I promised you, because Brian Camp is over there right now with the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. Again, if you have any sports questions, please feel free. Uh, Brian is decked out in orange. I don't know if that's a symbol or anything. He's decked out in orange today. I got my favorite color on.
I just wanted to wear orange today. It was just appropriate, so that's what I wanted to wear. So,
Okay.
so that's what I
Well,
have. So
it's bright. It's bright. It's blindingly almost, but
it's
it's
bright. It's more like a neon orange. Yeah, that's why it's bright.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, I was
yeah,
trying to struggle to find something to wear today.
yeah.
Today was pajama day at the school, so I asked if I could. Do I have to wear pajamas? They said, "Oh no, not the men for obvious reasons." So, the boy says, "No, just wear some neon stuff."
Yeah,
You got
yeah.
it.
How's things going on? I'm concerned about. I want to keep that report going. How are the kids doing? Are they showing up for class? Is everything okay over there?
Okay, that's a very good question. They weren't because of ice was coming over for a week. We had a low amount of children coming
Yeah.
into attendance. Parents were afraid to leave out the house. Parents was afraid to not take their children because you just don't know. At any day, they could have snatched the parents and then they would never see their kids.
Mm,
So that was
yeah.
some concerning. I spoke to a fact at a administrator at the school who's Latino but was born here and everything, and she was telling me that she said, Mr. Camp, I had to go to 23 homes to bring food over
Mm,
to them,
yeah.
to feed them and everything,
Yeah.
and she started tearing up by telling me the story and everything.
Yeah.
And she was very, very bothered by this and even shook me up a little bit. Just imagine you going out to bring your kids to school, and at any given time, you could be snatched off the street. I doubt it very much if the kids would be snatched off because the kids are born here. A lot of
Mhm.
these people were born here or are legal here.
Yeah.
But the ones that were born here were still being picked up and
Yeah.
later let go and everything. So it's sad. It's
It's
sad. Now they're headed to New Orleans, to my understanding, you know.
it's not gonna stop for a long time. I even heard a story today. This young teenage, well, 19, he's an adult now, a college kid, wanted to surprise her family by flying over to see them for Thanksgiving holiday. She never made it because they snatched her.
You see what I'm saying? You know, and then, I'm so upset with this country. Yes, I agree that illegals should not be here, especially the ones who commit crime over in their country, but this is the land of opportunities. Not everyone is like that. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure back in the earlier 20th century, when the Polish and the Italians and the Irish, they all came over to start a new life because in their country it was poor. But they weren't bothered. The only fight they had were the Italians were fighting against the Irish and the Polish, so they had to make their mark on Ellis Island, in New York Harbor and everything, so, but the way that these people are being treated now, and they're only attacking, I have to say this, they're only going after the people of color.
Yeah.
Call it like you said. I don't want
Black
to
and
keep
brown
using
people. Yeah.
a race card, but it is what it is, you know?
Mhm.
I don't know. It's just so much that's going on. It really angers me to see this here. Yeah, here it is. This country is 249 years old. 249 years old. We're about to be celebrating our 250th birthday next July,
Mhm.
and we're still going through this.
God comes in his own time.
Sure, absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. But I was listening to Don Lemon. I'm going to get to sports in a second, but listening to Don Lemon with some guests of his, and one of the panels that asked the guest speaker, um, their concerns about will there be will the sitting president have more than another term? In case and what and the person said, well, the danger of that happening could be true because if there's a civil war that breaks out among us in this country again, they're not going to have no election. So maybe there might be a civil war that may be started up by the time election comes. There's going to be a civil war. Then how are you going to have an election if there's a civil war among us?
yeah.
That's a wake-up call.
Yeah.
It's a
Well,
wake-up call. So I don't
well,
know. It's just so much that's going on in the world, and I just wish that, we'll get through this here. This one thing about us Americans, most Americans, we're very resilient people. We will get through, and we even have to pray for the person that lives at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue to soften up his heart. But the people, what they're doing to the people in Venezuela, that's sad. That's
and don't
that's
forget and don't forget
that's
the don't forget the Caribbean, the bombing of the ships, the boats.
that's right. Those are war crimes, as
Yeah.
I think if I'm saying it right.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But let me get to sports. Um, it is 44 degrees right now. It's warmed up a little bit. The last couple of mornings has been 31 degrees out here in the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you may be around the globe. I'm coming to you live from Charlotte, North Carolina, where I just gave you my temperature. And we expect to have rain overnight around midnight. It's supposed to rain throughout the night into the early morning hours of 10 o'clock and supposed to clear up, but it's been cold. It's been cold, and we've been fighting. There's a new um um COVID cold is out now where a lot of people is being sick, but it's not deadly as we know. So just be careful, everybody. But let me get to sports. There's a lot of things to talk about. Well, December 1st, 2026. Remember that date at 11:59 p.m. That's almost a year away. The league current labor agreement will expire as owners and players look to agree on a new collective bargain agreement. There are major hurdles to clear. Understand this, and some key areas of disagreements. Now, will we see will we have fans to see work stoppage in Major League Baseball in 2026 and 2027? Is a salary cap coming? A lockout which shut down free agency and trades as it did in 2021. So we got to be careful. We hope that the owners and the players union could get together and stop this. I'm saying this now because this is what's been reported. And you know how they don't want to make agreement now. They want to wait to the 23rd hour. So there's a possibility. It's a year from now, but let's see what happens. Now, I've been talking about the gambling situation. I told you I'm going to bring you some new information. Well, Cleveland Guardians pitchers, Emmanuel Clace and Luis Ortiz, these names should be coming to you every week, are facing a May trial on federal charges that they took bribes to help gamblers betting on their pitches. Now, jury selections would tentatively begin May 4th, tentatively, in Brooklyn Federal Court, with the trial opening the following week or sooner. So, what that is saying that they're moving forward is in May. I don't know why they don't make this here happen now, but they're building a case. Now, why do I bring that up? I'm glad you asked. In the NBA, I'm going to connect these together now. Here I go. Stay with me, everybody. The Philadelphia 76ers were fined $100,000 by the NBA for violating league injury reporting rules regarding Joel Embiid. Why is this so important? That's connected to gambling, like in baseball? Well, because if you give a false injury report that a star player is going to be out not playing, the bettors are making their wages, whether by an app on the phone or illegally with some organized people, not mention any names or any kind of ethnic group, but you know. But then the player that was listed out is now going to play. So what does that do to the bettors? They're going to be in an uproar. You just told us that he's going to be out. Well, why is he playing? Oh, no, no, no. I want my money back now. Oh, no, no, no. That's the problem that we face when it comes to betting. That's the problem that we face where people could get into some serious trouble. Now, the 76ers failed to accurately disclose the game availability status of Joel Embiid prior to last Sunday's game against the Atlanta Hawks. Now, Embiid, who was listed out, he was listed not playing in the Sixers' initial injury report and subsequently played in the game. I know we're in the airwaves. I don't want to start cussing, but these are what these gamblers are going to be cussing. And, you know, you're messing with people's money and livelihood. So now you see the connection of why it's not good to bet. It's just not good because you just don't know. In better news, more relaxing news, the NFL, the Motown famous singing group, the Temptations, have lit up the stages over the world since the 1960s. And although the legendary Motown group was formed in Detroit, where more than 6 decades ago, it will be performing in its first halftime show in Detroit, where the Detroit Lions are going to be playing against the Dallas Cowboys, hosting them on TV at halftime. Don't you touch that dial because the game has just started, but you will see the Temptations at halftime on Thursday Night Football at Ford Field. Otis Williams, the longtime living original member of the Temptations, is telling the fans to get ready. Well, get ready for an unforgettable experience like the title of the smash hit single of Get Ready. Don't touch that dial. Halftime will be on around 9 o'clock. 9:15. Stay right here. This day in sports, December 4th, 1943, Major League Baseball Commissioner Kenshaw Mountain Landis, the racist, yes, he is a racist, because he was the one that did not allow blacks and people of color to play in Major League Baseball. He was a former commissioner. That's right. Announced that any Major League Baseball team can now sign Negro players. Because he had no choice. He had a change of heart. But before that, Landis did not want any people of color to play in Major League Baseball. That's why baseball was segregated for a long time. 1949, Bobby Gage ties the NFL record at 100 for 97-yard TD run. Was broke by Tony Dorsett years later. 1956, Paul Hornung today becomes the 22nd Heisman Trophy Award winner. 1961. The 1962 Ernie Davis is the first African American to win the Heisman Trophy Award. He used to play for the Redskins. 1961, the smallest New York Knicks crowd of 1,300 people at the old Madison Square Garden was due to a snowstorm. That's why they couldn't really play. It was only 1,300 people there. It wasn't canceled because, in New York, they don't cancel anything. It doesn't matter. That's New York. Nothing gets canceled in New York. You just let a couple of icicles fall down off the sky here in North Carolina, they close everything down, but not in New York. No. 1964, Commissioner Office giving full powers to Major League Baseball disputes. 1966, Orlando ties record for least points, 57 since the 24-second clock. That happened that was in 1996 when they tied the least points in a game, 57 points, and that was during the 24-second clock era. 1997, NBA suspends Latrell Sprewell for 1 year for choking his coach, PJ Carlesimo. I remember that. 2011, Pedro Martinez officially announces his retirement from Major League Baseball. Birthdays on this day. 1956, Bernard King, NBA small forward Hall of Famer for the New York Knicks, was born in Fort Greene, Brooklyn, New York. 1957, Lee Smith, Major League Baseball pitcher, Hall of Famer, was born in Jamestown, Louisiana. 1961, Frank Wright, NFL coach and quarterback, played for the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Colts at that time. Was born in Freeport, New York. Happy birthday, 1970, to Jeff Blake, NFL quarterback, was born in Daytona Beach, Florida. And ladies and gentlemen, that is sports.
Get ready, because here I come.
Right.
Oh, back in the heyday of the Temptations, man, there was nothing. They were the greatest group in the world. Not the greatest black group in the world, the greatest group in the world. And I'm glad I grew up in a time where they were at their heyday, and I got to see all the original members of the Temptations.
Hit after hit after hit.
Yep, there's no stopping them. No stopping them. And Dallas, right? Speaking of Dallas, hey, your Cowboys are looking good right now.
Let's not talk too much about it. We don't want to jinx them.
Yep. You don't want to jinx it.
Tell you, my favorite Temptation song was Ball of Confusion. That was my favorite one.
That song is so timely today. Didn't quite understand it back then when it was recorded, but it is so timely today. A ball of confusion, that's what the world is today. Hey. They must have saw something or heard something or knew something that we didn't know back then, because that song is so timely today.
It sure is. It sure is.
I mean, listen to those lyrics. People moving up, people moving out because of the color of their skin.
Woo, 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 and you sure can. Yeah, that's
And
right.
the band played on.
Yeah, yeah.
Melvin Franklin.
That is an
Yeah.
excellent point. What you just said, Boil of Confusion, it should be the theme of right now, what's going on in this country.
Yep. It should be an anthem.
Hmm.
It should be an anthem. If I was still on the radio, I would probably foster that. But it should be an anthem. People have to listen to the lyrics of songs today and find out. I mean, I understand everything. They have the new music out, and I like some of the music that's out today. Some of the groups are out. Some of the top rated names like Bad Bunny and Taylor Swift and Beyonce, and they come out with good music. But you got to remember that music back then was saying something even before we knew something was going to happen.
That's right. That's
It's
right.
just like watching the Twilight Zone. Who ever knew that some of the things that the Twilight Zone was broadcasting back then, what they're doing then, exist today? You look at some of those episodes, and I said, Ross Serling had some kind of imagination,
Mhm.
to do that.
That's
But
right.
anyway, so how was your Thanksgiving?
Um, wasn't feeling well.
Oh,
Very, very light dinner. I made a miniature Thanksgiving dinner for three of us here at the house,
mhm,
wife and granddaughter. And wasn't feeling well. Watched a lot of TV. I did get to catch the second part of March of the Wooden Soldiers.
mm,
Watched The Honeymooners. Watched football. Uh,
mhm.
watched a lot of Netflix and a lot of other shows that I caught up on. Wasn't
Yeah,
feeling well. I start feeling better on Saturday. Um, now I just got a very mini dry cough and everything, but I'm feeling
mm,
better now.
oh,
It's a little congested, but Thanksgiving was just quiet, quiet.
yeah. Same here. Same here. I had, watched all the games that came on. Particularly the Dallas Cowboy game. That was the most game that I put more emphasis on. When they played the Chiefs, that was
That was a good game. Yeah.
yeah, that was a
It was
good
the
game.
second game, I believe it
Yeah,
was. Yeah.
and the Giants they didn't do good. The Vikings didn't do good.
Yeah.
Every time we get in the league, they blitz us.
Huh. Yeah. I
I
know.
don't know what's going on, but I'm pulling for you guys in Dallas.
Well,
That's how
we'll
I
see
feel.
what happens tonight. We're
Yeah,
gonna watch. I'm more interested in that halftime show, which I'm gonna watch. That's gonna be on Prime Video, or if you have a Monster Box, you could watch it on there.
okay.
Um, yeah. So the Temptations. I'm surprised they never been asked to do a Super Bowl intermission. They deserve it. That's an all-time group. One of the all-time groups of all time. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
Otis
Oh,
Williams.
I'm not. I know you want to go back to that game, so I'm gonna let you go. But what is it like tomorrow?
I'll let you know. We don't
Okay.
know. They talked about maybe some icy storm, so not quite sure yet. We're gonna
Yeah.
find out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed, hoping that you'll be able to do it anyway. We'll see.
All right
All right.
then. All right.
Okay.
Safe.
Talk to you later. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Okay. That's Brian Camp, ladies and gentlemen, with the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. He's here each week at this time. Of course, he brings us what's happening, and you heard what he had provided for us today as far as sports is concerned. And again, anytime you have any questions on sports related themes or anything like that, Brian is the man to ask. So make sure you do that. Want to remind you that this coming Sunday is a history. We talked about history, this day in history, which, by the way, we're going to do in just a couple of seconds. But I want to make sure that being that it's not happening today or tomorrow, this Sunday, we're going to date back in time to December 7th. That's Sunday, December 7th. 1941 was the day that Pearl Harbor got bombed. And that's history in itself. We say it today because we won't be able to be on the air that day to broadcast it. But it was bombed by the Empire of Japan out in Oahu, Hawaii. And that would make 84 years ago. 84 years ago on Sunday, that's when Pearl Harbor got bombed. So we want to keep that in mind. Okay. So now, since we set all of that, it's time to go on this day in history because I think it's about that time. And on this day in history in 1923, WEAF radio begins broadcasting Ever Ready Hour. It's a variety show. On this day in history in 1927, Walter Donaldson and Gus Kahn's musical Whoopee, starring Eddie Cantor, premieres on Broadway at the New Ambassador Theater in New York City. It runs for 407 performances. On this day in history in 1933, FDR creates a Federal Alcohol Control Administration. On this day in history in 1951, Aaron Copland's and Jerome Robbins' ballet, The Pied Piper, premieres in New York City. On this day in history in 1954, the first Burger King fast food restaurant opens in Miami, Florida. On this day in history in 1956, the improv recording session by the Million Dollar Quartet, Elvis Presley, Carl Perkins, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Johnny Cash, takes place at Sun Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. On this day in history in 1965, NASA launches Gemini 7 with Frank Borman and Jim Lovell. Back in 1977, Neil Simon's play Chapter 2 opens in New York City. In 1980, 2 months after the death of drummer John Bonham of Led Zeppelin announced their will disband the group. Back in 1981, Falcon's Crest premieres on CBS TV. In 1985, President Reagan appoints Vice President or Vice Admiral John Poindexter as Secretary Advisor. And back in 1991, Pan Am World Airlines ceases operation. Back in 1992, U.S. President George H.W. Bush orders 28,000 U.S. troops to war-torn Somalia. Back in 1997, The Diary of Anne Frank opens at the Music Box Theater in New York City. In 2022, A Beautiful Noise, that's the Neil Simon musical that opens at the Broadhurst Theater in New York City. In 1937, on this day in history, actor Max Baer Jr., he's the son of the boxer Max Baer, but Max Baer Jr. played Jethro on the Beverly Hillbillies. He was born on this day in Oakland, California. He's 88 years old today. And on this day in history in 1940, rock and roll Freddie Cannon, who does Palisades Park, was born on this day in Revere, Massachusetts. He's 85 today. Actor Jeff Bridges was born on this day in 1949 in Los Angeles, California. He's 76 today. And on this day in 1954, actor Tony Todd, who played on Platoon, Candyman, and Final Destination, was born in Washington, D.C. on this day, and he died in 2024. In 1955, jazz singer Cassandra Wilson was born in Jackson, Mississippi. She's 70 today. Actress Marissa Tomei was born on this day in 1964 in Brooklyn, New York. She's 61 today. Rapper Jay-Z was born on this day in 1969 in Brooklyn, New York. He's 56 today. Model Tara Banks was born on this day in 1973 in Inglewood, California. She's 52 today. In 1984, singer Jelly Roll was born in Antioch, Tennessee. He's 41 today. In 1941, comedian Milton Berle marries actress Joyce Matthews for the first time. They got divorced in 1947 and they remarried in 1949. In 1976, actress Elizabeth Taylor marries for the 7th time to American politician John Warner, and they got divorced in 1982. In 1979, singer Liza Minnelli weds her third husband, American sculptor Mark Gero, and they got divorced in 1992. In 2015, actors Melanie Griffith and Antonio Banderas, they got divorced after 19 years of marriage. Actor, comedian Bert Lahr died on this day in 1965 at 72 years old. He died from cancer. He was born August 13th, 1895 in New York City. Singer Frank Zappa from the Mothers of Invention died on this day in 1993. He died at the age of 52 from prostate cancer, and he was born December 21st, 1940 in Baltimore, Maryland. And finally, in 2021, country musician Stonewall Jackson dies from complications of vascular dementia at the age of 89 years old. So that's what's happening on this day in history. And if you happen to know what's happening on this day in history further, something that we didn't mention, of course, we would love to hear from you. Just type it in there. And of course, we'll have the opportunity to tell everyone, but who's ever in the room right now can actually see it. But please, be one of the ones, if you know anything, to let us know. We always ask you guys to come and join us in conversation. There are a lot of people who are out there right now who didn't say a word to us, and we did not acknowledge you just as I promised, because we want to respect your privacy. And maybe later on down the road, of course, you'll be able to conversate with us, and then we'll be able to talk to you as well. But you take your time with that. But maybe there's a point at this particular point you want to get in touch with me. Well, let me give you my email address and my telephone number, all right? We're going to start with the email address first. The email address is Frank Allan Prod. That's Allan is spelled Allan. Prod is Prod. That's Frank Allan Prod at AOL.com. That's Frank Allan Prod at AOL.com. Telephone number, okay, how about that? Is 641 715 3900, extension 467-134. Again, that's 641 715 3900, extension 467-134. We would be pleased if you get in contact with us for any reason. We don't care what it is. It could be your birthday. You could have some kind of affair going on that you want to talk to us about. You maybe want to talk about what I said, your birthday, or some kind of celebration or community event that you want us to push out there for you. We'll be able to do that. Just get in contact with us and give us all the particulars. This way we can get it out there for you. All right. So make sure you keep all of the information I just gave you in all of your devices, like your electronic devices. Now, if you own more than one device, put them in all of them. That could be your computer, be it laptop or desktop, or maybe your tablet or your phone. Put it in all, because if one is not available at one point, then you also have something else to lay back on, and you can grab it right out of there. Remember, you can contact us. It's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Call us. If you call us, leave a message. And email us anytime you like. It's all open for you. And of course, so we would love to hear from you. So we'll be waiting for that information from you. We'll be waiting for you. So let me give you the address once again. The email address is frankallanprod at AOL.com. That's frankallanprod at AOL.com. Telephone number is 641 715 3900, extension 467-134. That's 641 715 3900, extension 467-134. I'm going to look for you. I'll twiddle my thumbs. I'll sit here all day, all night, and just wait for you. How about that? Okay, we'll wait for you. Have you guys noticed, especially you guys on Facebook, now social media is something that it was fun at one time, and in a way it was safe, but even still you had to make sure that your children didn't go on social media until they reached the age of 18 years old, where they'd be able to handle that. But they also discourage parents from letting them go out there, because there's a lot of bullying, and how many kids have committed suicide over that, right? It seems to me that social media has gotten more, I don't know, it's gotten worse than what it was before, particularly when AI came out. Now, AI, as you already know, is artificial intelligence, but we already know, and you may be too young to even realize or appreciate the fact that AI has always been here. It has always been here. The only difference now is that there are apps and it takes like seconds, minutes to create something uh, than it was back in the old days. Now, when I was in radio and even now in TV, right, we could still perform with it and we could do it the old way. We did it by hand, we did it by editing machines because AI, artificial intelligence, is no more than doctoring or creating something that doesn't really exist. For instance, you already seen on Facebook all of the things that come on. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. I ran through over the holiday, right? I was on Facebook and I see this a lot. I saw the the reason why I picked this out because it was they use AI to sell you things that that may be bogus or you may not need or something. Or they just want to scam you or something like that. They use AI for that particular reason. Now AI could be used as it is, as we already know, it is used on a negative basis, but it could be used on a positive basis as well. Now I saw this video and you remember a long time ago when social media killed off Morgan Freeman, said Morgan Freeman is dead, Henry Winkler is dead, Ellen DeGeneres is dead. They all died. They all got killed off. Well, they brought up something with Morgan Freeman. They had a video of Morgan Freeman dressed up in a tuxedo and a bow tie and everything on a podium, and he's talking and he's talking about how he lost his left hand. He lost his left hand because he went to the doctor. The doctor told him that he had to have his hand amputated, right? And he said, now, if you don't want to go through this, we have this product that you could use. We have this drink that you could take, and you won't have to worry about it kicks off diabetes or anything because you want to live a comfortable life, a fruitful life, a healthy life. If you take this product, you won't have to wind up like I did. He said the doctor told him that he had to go off and cut his hand off, and they even showed an image with he's on his had his jacket, but he was like this, walking down. And I thought to myself, okay, you know something? I always like to fact check. And I fact check everything. I don't care what it is. And I looked at that. I looked at that video. And what threw up the red flag for me, I saw that when he was talking, his his lip movement wasn't in sync to the audio. It was not in sync. So I said, okay, that could happen. It can happen, But I said, you know what? I'm going to double check this thing. I'm going to look to after watching the whole video and seeing the image of him with no hands or no left hand. I checked it out. It was AI. It was AI. They used a video that he previously did something on stage or other, and they just used his voice. That was his voice, and connected it with the video. So I looked back. I did a double take on it. I went back and I double checked. I fact checked. And you know something? Morgan Freeman never lost his hand. He did not lose his hand, and it was not amputated. Morgan Freeman, though had his left hand was paralyzed, is paralyzed, but it was paralyzed due to a car accident he had previously. But he still has his hand, and the only thing that he uses a glove, a compression glove, so he could minimize the pain, a compression glove. But they use that as a gimmick to use to sell their product. Morgan Freeman has two hands like everyone else. It's just that the left hand is paralyzed from a car accident he was in previously, but he still has his hand and he uses a compression glove. Now, if I were Morgan Freeman, I'd sue. If it were me, I'd sue. And so, ladies and gentlemen, you got to be very careful on social media today. Don't believe everything that you hear. If you hear something that's kind of unbelievable, fact check it. You can do that by fact checking. Go on Google and fact check it, you know, because it may be otherwise. Because we heard so many things on social media that it's hard to believe. And when you see something and you hear something and you say something, oh, that's hard to believe. It's a possibility. It's hard to believe. It probably doesn't, I don't know. It probably just isn't true, you know. So there's a lot of things. So be very careful and be very careful of what you believe and what you see, you know, uh, because you want to, and it makes you want to fact check even more what people say, what people do, the AI, the voices of everything. So be very careful on social media. And please, ladies and gentlemen, do not post anything of a person that passed away until you know that for sure. And you know something? Here's a tip. If you hear someone who passed away and you're scrolling down and you don't see that information anymore, chances are they didn't pass away. They killed off Dionne Warwick, I remember. You know, someone called me and said Dionne Warwick died. And I said, no, Dionne Warwick is just as live as you are. So be very careful. And social media is just a thing. I don't even bother with social media that much, other than just to do this show and maybe post things every now and then, but not as much as I did. Be very careful on social media. And if you're under 18, stay away from it all. But you parents are. I have those movies I want to get to now. I have 4 this week. Now the weekend is coming up, so I want to sound off these movies to you so you get a chance to watch them this weekend in conjunction with the movies that you may have picked out for yourself this weekend. Here's one that's called It Happened on Fifth Avenue. It's a black and white 1947 comedy starring Don DeFore, Ann Harding, and Gail Storm. It's on Turner Classic Movies, and you can check it out Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern. It's a nice black and white comedy. I love that comedy. King of King, if you're biblical, 1961, starring Jeffrey Hunter. And that's on Turner Classic Movies. And you can see that Saturday at 4:15 p.m. Eastern. From Here to Eternity from 1953, a Burt Lancaster movie along with Montgomery Clift and Deborah Kerr and Frank Sinatra. That's on Turner Classic Movies. You can see that Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And finally, here's another one. This is another color movie called How to Marry a Millionaire back in 1953, starring Betty Grable, Marilyn Monroe, and Lauren Bacall. That's on Turner Classic Movies. You can see that on Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Now, if you don't get a chance to watch these movies in real time, if you don't get a chance to watch them in real time, and if you still have your cable box, right, you can record that. You can record DVR it and watch it at your own convenience, right? Because sometimes you don't get a chance to watch them live, record them. And if you go on Turner Classic Movies in conjunction with the movies that I just gave you here, you may want to see some other movies that I didn't mention only because these are my picks of the week. And you can go to Turner Classic Movies, scroll down, and you can find other movies too. And while you're there too, go on demand and watch some of the free movies. And there are the pay-per-view movies, and then you have movies for children, you have sporting events, you have documentaries, which I love so much, and all kinds of things. And networks, if you your favorite soap opera, if you missed that, you could always go back the following day and check it out there. All right. Like those Lifetime movies? Well, they're right there. You can see what's available there. Okay. So let me give you these movies once again. I think you're going to like them. It Happened on Fifth Avenue, starring Don DeFore, Ann Harding, and Gail Storm. Remember Gail Storm? A lot of you may not remember. Back in the 50s, she did a sitcom called My Little Margie. Right? And that's on Turner Classic Movies. That's Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And then King of Kings, 1961, Jeffrey Hunter. And that's on Turner Classic Movies. You can see that Saturday at 4:15 p.m. Eastern. From Here to Eternity with Burt Lancaster, Montgomery Clift, Deborah Kerr, or Cure, and Frank Sinatra. That's Turner Classic Movies at Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And then you have How to Marry a Millionaire. I don't know if this is the right way to do it, but watch the movie. Maybe you can learn something from it. Betty Grable, Marilyn Monroe, Lauren Bacall, and that's Turner Classic Movies. That's Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern. I think you're going to like these movies. I hope you get a chance to take them out, check them out. Go to my web page, and that's my, of course, that's, if you're there right now, that's my YouTube channel. If you're there right now, click on and subscribe to it. If you're not there, if you're watching us on Facebook after the show, go there and do the same thing, okay? That's going to wrap it up for me. I'm going to get out of here. I want to go home. But I will be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern for the coffee hour. Brian Camp will be here with me with the latest developments in today's world of sports. At least I'm keeping my fingers crossed. He said he may be here, but we're going to learn more about it. If not, of course, we are going to cover it for him. But if you don't come back next Thursday, we'll be here next Thursday as well. Next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern for more of Talk Back Live. Okay? In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, have yourself a great day, a morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a pleasant good night. We'll see you soon. Take care.
You've been watching Talk Back Live with your host Frank Allan. The producer is Al Dale. Technical assistant Dave Taylor. Research by Sandy Pierce. And I'm your announcer Donna Stenke. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Talk Back Live.